Hello everyone, this is Mr. Donaldson, and today's video lesson is about parallel lines cut by a transversal. More specifically, we're going to talk about angle relationships. Here are a few terms we're going to look at to begin with, and then we'll get into some more vocabulary words on the next slide. First, we have parallel lines. You should be familiar with this. These are lines that never meet. Our second term is transversal. This is a line that intersects two or more lines. Here are the vocabulary words for this lesson. There's a long list, so what I recommend is pausing the video and taking the time to write each of these definitions. For this lesson, I'm not going to read each definition. I feel the definitions tend to be a bit wordy and can often lead to confusion. These words, I feel that it's better to show examples of them so that you will understand them. The list of words for this lesson include transversal, alternate exterior angles, alternate interior angles, corresponding angles, linear pair, same side interior angles, same side exterior angles. Here is an example of a diagram that will be used when discussing angle relationships and parallel lines cut by a transversal. We can see that our lines are labeled and our angles are numbered. Notice this. We have a symbol now we need to talk about. The symbol with the double lines means parallel. So line A is parallel to line B. And C would be our transversal. Remember, a transversal is a line that intersects two or more lines, and it's intersecting line A and B. For our angles, we would call them angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, and so on. When we have parallel lines cut by a transversal, we form a bunch of different angle pairs. And various angles form a relationship with each other, and that's what we're going to talk about. The first one is alternate interior angles. When we look at the words alternate interior, alternate means on opposite sides of the transversal. Interior means inside the parallel lines. So we're going to find the angles that are opposite sides of the transversal inside the parallel lines. Our first pair of alternate interior angles are angle 3 and angle 6. Angle 3 and angle 6. Can you figure out the other ones? It would be angle 4 and angle 5. What you need to know about these sets of angles is that they're congruent. That means equal to each other. So if angle 3 is 110 degrees, angle 6 is 110 degrees. Or if angle 4 is 80 degrees, then angle 5 is 80 degrees. Our next angle relationship we're going to look at is alternate exterior. We already talked about alternate being opposite sides of the transversal. So exterior are the angles outside the parallel lines. In this diagram, you may notice that the angles have been numbered a little differently, and that's okay. I did this to show you that there's not always one set way to label angles. So let's look for our alternate exterior angles, opposite of the transversal, outside the parallel lines. My first one would be angle 1 and angle 7. Angle 1 and angle 7. Do you see the other ones? Angle 2 and angle 8. These angles are also congruent. So whatever angle 1 is, that's what angle 7, and so on with angle 2 and angle 8. Now we're going to look at same-side interior angles. We know that interior means inside the parallel lines. You can probably guess that same side means on the same side of the transversal. So here we have 2 and 5. Angle 2 and angle 5 are same side interior. So would 4 and 7. What you need to know about these angle relationships is that they are supplementary. Do you remember what that means? That means they add to 180 degrees. So if angle 2 is 130 degrees, angle 5 would be 50 degrees. And if angle 4 was 80 degrees, then angle 7 would be 100 degrees. Now we look at same side exterior. They're on the same side of the transversal, outside the parallel lines. First we have 1 and 7. The other one would be 2 and 8. What you need to know about these is that they are also supplementary, which means they add up to 180. So angle 2 and angle 8 need to equal 180 degrees. The next angle relationship is called corresponding angles. And these are angles that are in the same relative position. What I mean by that is you have to look at each angle and compare it to the parallel line and the transversal. So for example, angle 1 is above a parallel line and left of a transversal. Do you see another angle that is above a parallel line and left of a transversal? Hopefully you see angle 5 is in that same position. So angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding angles. Let's find another one. Angle 2 is above and right, above a parallel line, right of a transversal. Well, so is angle 6. So angle 2 and angle 6 are corresponding. See if you can take a moment and pause the video and figure out the other ones. You should have seen that angle 3 and angle 7 are corresponding. Also, angle 4 and angle 8. Corresponding angles are congruent. So if angle 1 is 60 degrees, that means angle 5 is 60 degrees. And that works for all of them. The next angle relationship are called vertical angles. With vertical angles, I think angles that are diagonal from each other. And here's one example. Angle 1 and angle 4 are vertical angles. 2 and 3 are vertical angles. See how they're diagonal from each other? They're vertical angles. Can you find the other ones? Angle 5 and angle 8. Then angle 6 and angle 7. Vertical angles are congruent, so whatever angle 1 is, angle 4 will be the same one, and angle 6 will be whatever angle 7 is. Our final angle relationship are adjacent angles, or you may hear them called linear pairs. These are angles next to each other. They're angles that form a straight line. So let's find angles that are next to each other. I see that angle 1 and angle 2 are next to each other. Angle 3 and angle 4 are next to each other. I can even say angle 1 and 3 are next to each other. Could be 5 and 6, or 5 and 7, 6 and 8, or 7 and 8. Hopefully you get the idea. Adjacent angles are next to each other. Adjacent angles are supplementary, and if you think about it, these are angles that make a straight line, and we know a straight line is 180 degrees, so adjacent angles add up to 180 degrees. So if angle 1 is 60 degrees, that means angle 2 is 120 degrees. That also means angle 3 is 120 degrees. Let's do a quick recap to sum all this up. Today we talked about angle relationships, and angle relationships were either congruent, meaning they're the same, or supplementary, meaning they add up to 180. The congruent angle relationships are your alternate angles, both interior and exterior, your corresponding angles, and your vertical angles. These are all congruent or equal to each other. The supplementary angles are the same side, interior and exterior, and the adjacent. If you can memorize this list, it'll go a long way in helping you in the next lesson. This concludes our parallel lines cut by transversal and the angle relationships that it forms lesson. If you have any questions, remember you can email me at robert.donaldson@hallco.org or find me on Twitter, username at Mr_Donaldson. Until next time, thanks for watching.